some actual kind of bits and pieces. So let me just quickly introduce the event again, because map 1 was a bit of a mess. We had a stream crash and everything, so just in case this goes on YouTube, and this is the starting point. This is the best of 11. Maru beat HEROMARINE for map 1. It was honestly a very quick game, so honestly, if you didn't see that one on the YouTube, you really didn't miss anything. So it's 1-0 to Team Korea, so it's best of 11. Team Korea versus Team EU. And Korea have... Team Korea have a Maru, Dark, Rogue, and Trap on their team, while Team Europe have got Clem, Reynor, MAXPAX, and HEROMARINE. So HEROMARINE's already lost his game. It's best of 11 all kill, and each team has 2 revives, but they must revive different players. So expectations are you probably revive Clem and Reynor down the line. So this is map 2. This was Reynor's map pick because Team Europe lost the first map. And it is indeed Reynor versus Maru, but oh my god. Don't tell me that, oh, am I really going to have to try and add text again because they don't have... I'm scared, guys. Okay, it didn't break this time. It didn't break, okay. It didn't break at least. Alright. Alright, guys, I'm just going to quickly, I'm just going to have to do this all day, apparently. Oh, no, that doesn't look good. There we go. So it is Reynor. Excuse me, just fixing the freaking thing. I don't know why they don't have... I guess something to do with, like, the Korean overlay or something. They have, like, their own way of, like, writing names and stuff. Okay, but it is Reynor versus Maru, so... It's an improvement already. At least now I don't have to open up the names thing again. Well, the text thing, at least it's already been done, that part. Alright, so a bit of TvZ on Pride. I mean, we are going to open pool first as well, so Reynor going to take no risks. Doesn't want to get proxy raxed or anything, just says, look, I really believe this map is so good for me. I mean, this is the map that Terrans veto instantly all the time. He believes this map is good enough for him that realistically, if he just doesn't die to a proxy rax, he should just have all of the advantages here. He should just be able to run this through, and he should just be able to make this a win. So like I say, sorry for a bit of a hectic start. 1-0 to Team Korea. Maru beat HEROMARINE already, and it was a very quick game on Curious Minds, and now it's Reynor's map pick, chooses Pride, in this best of 11 Olimoleague Invitational number 8. $2,000 prize pool, obviously split between 8 players, but not bad for playing a few maps of StarCraft 2, that's for sure. And of course, you can always check out the Olimoleague on patreon.com/Olimoleague. If you're in the Twitch chat, you can exclamation mark Olimoleague as well. Do go support the Olimoleague and keep these events coming, because we really do enjoy them, and it gives us it's a lot of fun, right? As Reynor is going to pause, of course he is. Gives me even more moments just to quickly say welcome everybody and all that kind of stuff. As apparently Reynor's playing with 200 ping to the central server. That's not normal. That's for sure. So, yeah, a few moments here, guys. Maru Reynor will continue as we are in this best of 11 in the Olimoleague. Very fun stuff. Very excited to see what storylines maybe come out of this. So, yeah, just a few moments while we get Reynor figured out, and hopefully we can get this resumed in map number 2 of this overall best of 11. I just want to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, we might do a thing where, like, if this is like a very long series, which is very possible, right? I mean, we're talking about a best of 11. If it goes all the way into a very long series, this might be split up into 2 parts. So if this is split up into 2 parts on YouTube, then, you know, look forward to part 2 tomorrow, basically. Obviously on Twitch, we're not going to split into parts. That should be apparent. So yeah, that's where we are at as we get ready to roll. So just Reynor fixing his internet. I mean, he is playing in the wonderful world of from England. I mean, England, we don't have the best internet here all the time. In fact, I'm dropping frames. Why am I dropping frames? What am I actually doing that is dropping frames? Oh god. I'm just sat here dropping frames as well. Am I updating something? Is something downloading? It's not very normal for me to drop frames. Looks like we're just going to resume. So we're going to get this going. Okay, I'm still dropping frames, though. That's really not good.
Game resumed.
Alright, I'll have to check on that in a moment or two if it continues to be an issue. For now, let me know if you guys see any lags or holdups on the stream, but for now, we continue and Reynor just comes down to take his third hatchery. So we'll begin with that. Get that set up and just going to be seeing a starport already on the way up here, so just getting that starport up and ready to go. A couple more Hellions continuing out. And just going to be seeing this Overlord is on a little wander forward at the moment. So Reaper and 2 Hellions coming across the map here initially from Maru. Going to go for a little bit of a move across to the bottom side. And just going to be seeing a Banshee opening from him as well. So pretty regular at the moment as we get this underway. Just going to be seeing our couple of extra Hellions continuing to come across. So all of this joining up together and just moving around the right-hand side. We've seen a few of these Hellions picking up a few of these Lings, and actually going to get into this mineral line where a few drones are just going to be continuing to go down. So drones taking a bit of a beating right now. 4 workers falling, and that's going to be up to 5 workers going down. So 5 workers dropping. Not a bad little run by. It is only the 5 workers, though. It's only a handful of Lings behind that, so nothing else too crazy. This is going to be seeing that group spread down the left-hand side. Now Lings moving around as well. Banshee back down the south side. Couple Queens still hanging around. Spores on the way up. Extractors coming through. That lair is about to finish. Just going to see our Banshee coming in. Just going to go after a few of these drones. So no Spore Crawler ready just yet. 3 workers going down. Just going to be seeing the Banshee continue to take some hits as we get pushed out through the bottom side of the map. We'll get pushed all the way through the south side here. And away we go. Well, definitely not a bad start for Maru, getting some good initial damage done. I'm just going to be seeing an additional refinery coming down. Spire is going to be placed as well. Just getting that up and rolling as our Banshee's trying to find a little bit extra damage here or there. Just going to be seeing our stim continuing through. That's going to be finishing up shortly. And just going to be seeing the Banshees back up around into the center. So moving along nicely here. And just keeping the action going. Sorry, I'm not casting well because I'm completely distracted by the fact my stream is just straight up lagging. For some reason, my internet's just dying. And everything else that's happened, I'm just completely flustered. So apologies for the distracted casting, guys. I know I should just focus on the game, but that's hard when you can literally see a number rising that says your stream isn't doing well. And that people are complaining and stuff. A few creep teamers go down. It's going to be seen now. Our Banshee's back up to the top side. Spire is going to be finishing Baneling Speeders on the way in. Just going to be seeing those Banshees just shooting for another Zergling or so. Here come a couple of Medivacs heading down to the center. Now, it's only a couple of tanks, but of course, they're bringing a whole group of Marines behind them. As Maru only has 46 workers, guys. He is 2 base, all in, against someone who is making mutas. I mean, mutas just aren't great against a 2 base all in because you want to be able to have an army that can fight this. So it's going to be a little bit wonky. The 2 base all in here on Pride of Altaris from Maru to try and win this out as we press forward. The Overlord's already going down, so there's a supply block. I mean, the Banes don't have speed. This is not looking pretty in the slightest. Ling's going down as they transfer to the low ground, and this is just going to be, I think, Maru walking through to a victory here, plain and simple. I mean, what the mutas just can't do anything useful, and the third hatchery just straight up goes down already as well, so that just dies. Mutas are going to go across the map. I mean, it is only a 2 base setup from Maru, so I mean, you could argue maybe there's some hope, but now Reynor's losing a couple of Mutalisks as well. Just going to be seeing the rest of these creep teamers continuing to go down. Marines and tanks continuing to head down to the south side, and just going to be seeing these Banshees just getting set up. Reynor going to type GG because he kind of knows that this is just over. It's got out of hand. 2 base all in wasn't well handled. GG's, and That is going to be that. That's a little bit crazy. Now, Observer, before I change Reynor's name to MAXPAX, are we going to swap around the things? It doesn't look like it. Okay. Maru MAXPAX for game number 3. The map pick was from MAXPAX. It is 2,000 atmospheres. Is in the top right-hand side. He is going to be our blue Protoss player. Taking on the right tower, and in the bottom left-hand corner, it is Maru. Map 3 of this best of 11, and we will see Maru taking an SCV out across the map early, going via the watchtower. Now, is this a proxy scout, or is there something more cynical planned from Maru here? Does he have something more of an idea of what he might be getting up to shortly? What is the plan, Mr. Maru? You have gathered my interest. Looks like it's just an engineering bay block. That's actually not too weird, especially when you send your SCV around in an odd direction like that to basically stop it being scouted coming across. A lot of the time is just to get that engineering bay block down, so it is a fair, a little bit funky. Maru loves to do this against, well, I say MAXPAX because I remember him playing against MAXPAX in, I want to say like TSL qualifiers maybe. But just in general against European Protoss players, it feels like he just wants to take the control of the game away from his opponent right from the start and just say, look, we're playing my game, and that's that. And the moment he does that, I feel like a lot of the European players, they really do then start to struggle a little bit more, and, their plan's kind of out the window. And especially someone like MAXPAX, I mean, he loves to kind of mix the game up and so on, and now he's got to play kind of from Maru's kind of rhythm, and yeah, it does mess you around a little bit. Maru will just expand, and in the main base as well, though, so he is going to be cautious and respectful of MAXPAX here, and the aggression that MAXPAX can bring to the table. So, being respectable, well, respecting that, as you see the Reaper coming through, and that is going to pick off this probe. That will go down, and that's a nice little hill to start us off there. Reaper is going to have an Adept Shade on top of it, but as the Adept Shade is on top, it takes one hit and then can get out of range. That's going to be seeing our Robo Facility Twilight Council continue to come on through, and just going to drop our starport down into the center as well. A couple of Marines wouldn't mind popping out. Command Center is going to be finishing up, and that can move on down to the low ground. So yeah, a little grenade going down. That is going to be the Adept able to pick the Reaper off. And that's going to be a nice little grab. Robo Facility continuing through. And that's obviously going to be his next step here. So intrigued to see what MAXPAX wants to get up to. Obviously, he gets a good scout here as the Adept gets let in. So he sees everything. He sees that, okay, there is an expansion. He's actually going to get an SCV as well. So not bad at all. Let's see what else this Adept can do. Not much. I mean, it was eventually going to go down there. So Maru can guarantee that kill. And, well, there is the Dark Shrine coming in from MAXPAX. So there's his plan. We were wondering what he was going to get up to. It is just going to be a Dark Shrine from the get-go. And in we go. Now just going to see our War Prisms about halfway done. Just going to see our Gateway setting up as well. As you see, a triple Widow Mine drop out across to the upper right-hand side. Just going to be getting that in towards the main base. Just going to be moving on through. And there's the Prism heading down the bottom. Now, this Prism can't be sniped by this army, which is right here. Group of Marines does show up. Prism seen. Let's see how MAXPAX deals with the Widow Mine drop. This is going to alert Maru of the Dark Shrine, of course, as well. Good movement from the probe so far. Obviously, now it's a question of still actually being able to clean this up, because that can be a problem sometimes. As, oh, the Widow Mine on the natural gets 9 workers, so 9 workers going down. That part of this is pretty brutal. That hurts a lot. DT comes in. Immediately there's a scan available. DT on the natural, though, will get a few kills. I mean, there's a scan available there as well, but you'll get 5 kills at least, so it makes up for a little bit of the damage you just took. Now, the biggest issue here that I have is that... Oh, do you lose this DT as well? Okay, well, the problem here is that this cost you 2 DTs. Your opponent still has a medevac alive with 2 of the Widow Mines alive, and obviously DTs are kind of meant to get in and do some damage of their own, and now they're kind of making up for damage, so just in general, Maru is already running away with this a little bit as a couple of additional probes go down, the medevac loads up again, and it's just going to go pulling back around the back of the main base. This went pretty wrong pretty quickly, huh? As we got the single Archon coming in. I mean, you got to be careful here because of that Raven as well. You got to be really cautious of the Matrix. Of course, Matrix does have a travel time at least, so you do have time to react to it. So that's why you can be somewhat confident moving your Archon in there without fear of it being Matrixed out of the prism. Just going to be seeing our Blink continuing through at the moment. Just going to be seeing our Widow Mine coming in. I'm just going to be seeing the probes just trying to fire. Another Widow Mine into the back of the natural, burrows up as well. Just going to be seeing one more probe. I mean, we are going to still not clean this up, man. That medevac's still alive. Maru just finds ways to be annoying permanently, right? It's just so frustrating. He just finds this medevac escaping again and again. 2 more DTs will warp in here. Just getting a couple of those brought into play. That means we do have a second Archon to start dropping with and to keep on pressuring with. Need to actually go and pick that up though, as Stim going to be finishing shortly. Combat shields and +1 weapons continuing in as well. This is going to be the end of this medevac harass, but of course, even after all of this, the freaking medevac is going to get out of there alive. Still can't find anything with the Archons, unfortunately, as well, so that's still going nowhere. And we just have now a push from Maru that could be deadly, honestly, with the damage he got done early and the amount he's had kind of MAXPAX jumping through hoops, basically, all game long. MAXPAX has been permanently running around silly, trying to deal with damage being dealt and all of that kind of stuff. As across the map we come. Maru going to sit in the center for a couple of moments before we continue through. Going to be seeing the Bioforce tanks, Raven, all of this continuing to settle down, and let's see what I can get up to in the end as we go pushing up the ramp here, stemming straight up. First tank goes down pretty much immediately. Zealot goes down, Immortal gets chased away. Matrix on the... Oh, on double Arc. Oh my god, both the Archons are Matrixed. Well, he stems in for the super battery, and well, yeah, I mean... Oh no, he kills the Prism with the Immortal inside as well. Tanks aren't even sieged up at this point, as we have one Archon to get rid of, and the Stalkers don't last long. Maru takes a 3-0 lead for Team Korea, and Maru is on a warpath. Maru's looking pretty destructive. Alrighty, friends. Let's get this going. As oh, sorry, I didn't see who was who. Maru's in the red, perfect. Maru's in the red, Clem's in the blue. And apologies, I'm not used to having to update the names and stuff, guys, so apologies for that. Well, we're going to start off with Maru proxying out over to the left-hand side. I will just say right now, and this is not an excuse, but... Well, it kind of is, but if I mix up the player names, it's probably simply because I see the blank player slate. So for like a TvZ, a mirror matchup, it's very difficult to cast without the player names in front of me. So, yeah, just a heads up on that. This is kind of neat for Maru, for Clem actually. He goes 2 racks in base. Let's see what the build actually will be for Clem. I mean, he's going to go 2 racks Reaper, but what's the build for Maru? I mean, from over here, is it going to be a Tech Lab into Marauder, or are we just going to build... Okay, it's going to be Tech Lab Marauder. I like this a fair amount. For Clem, I mean, Marauders can still be tricky to deal with, but you can have a lot of unit production very quickly so that it might not really matter that much. Let's see what happens. Obviously, Marauders will start up here soon. If Clem sends his first Reaper across the map, this happened in a TVT somewhat recently. I'm trying to think who it was, but someone had a great setup where if they just sent their Reaper across the map, like their first Reaper across the map, I would have loved it so much more. And in the end, they ended up defending, and it wasn't good for them. I wonder if that was Clem going for that kind of a build against somebody. Yeah, I mean, this Reaper's going to go across the map, and when he gets there, he will be able to start harassing. Now, obviously, that's micro you're going to have to put in, but it's micro that's going to be able to consistently come on through. So, let's see how this goes, as obviously he can start a defense now as well when he realizes that there is not going to be a barracks at home. Now he knows the barracks is going to be proxied most likely, and he's already starting to deal some damage. So Clem's starting to deal some hits. Maru's going to move forward with his Marauders, so he'll move forward with that. And Clem already looking for additional SCV kills. As you're going to see, his second Reaper comes across the map as well. Now here are the Marauders. Clem will build a bunker quite far back. A big part of how he's going to try and defend this here is he will start to lose his depots at the front. I think that's just a given and something which he's already accepted as well. I think he's very content with that being a thing. He, is aware of kind of what happens here. His first Marauder goes very low, and Clem's actually in a great spot, right? I mean, he's killed a lot of SCVs across the map. He kills one of these Marauders. My only sad part is that, he is going to get another Marauder. Now, he will lose this Marine as well, yes, but I don't think it's all that bad, actually. As he's got Hellions out, his Reapers came back as well, so he did some good damage. Obviously, Hellions were building, so he brought his Reapers back home. And that means he has those to help him out here as well, and that's obviously just good news. Yeah, I like this a lot, guys. I think this is a very good little situation we've gotten ourselves into right now. Alright, so Clem sits up 7 workers, up a little bit of army supply, and he's even starting an expansion already. So Clem already on his way to a very strong position here, game number 4 of this best of 11. If Clem can get a win, well, he's still got a tough time ahead of him with Dark and Rogue, and they're going to have some map picks. Glitter and Ashes still available, for example, right? It ain't going to be easy, don't get me wrong, but it's absolutely going to be possible. All of a sudden I have a little bit of hope in the squad, in Team Europe. So if nothing else, we can have a little bit of hype if Clem can pick up this map. And he's definitely put himself in a good position. Still 6 workers ahead right now. Still set up well at the moment. I think the last time I saw this, I really wish I could remember who it was. But they pulled their Reaper back when they realized it was a proxy. And it was just not the right decision because they didn't do any damage. And then the damage they took was just overwhelming. The extra Reaper at home really didn't make a difference at first as well. It just wasn't a good way to play it out in the slightest. So very happy to see that Reaper went straight across the map from Clem. Even the second Reaper too. And just happy, he could give up a depot and it was still okay for him, right? It's going to be, is he actually going to pop this Marine out? He is, and Clem doesn't realize it. So he might actually lose an SCV or so to that. That is possible at this stage. It's going to see a Hellion drop from Maru. That could be his way back in the game if you can get a whole bunch of worker damage done off the back of this. This is absolutely going to be one of the better chances that he has, right? It's the right idea for again just getting back into this game. So I like it. Let's see how you can do. Clem has no idea as well. The Raven's nearby. Oh man, this is going to be rough. Starts to pull the SCVs. We'll send a couple back to try and split up as well, right? Drops that auto turret. I almost wish that he didn't. Just for the fact that I felt like it was obvious that Maru was going to start turning away. He's just in a good position, though. Oh, he's going to get himself the medevac. This is really good. He loses 8 SCVs, but he's going to clean up so much. And now that's the entire army just down for Maru, so now he's in a bit of an army problem. And that definitely is going to be a bit of a factor here as well. And that definitely makes this kind of interesting. So we get into a pretty interesting little situation because of all this now. Yeah, I'm rather intrigued as to how the heck we go from here. Because to me, this means that Clem can go across the map and counterattack. But does he have, does he really feel that himself? I think he does. He's obviously still got the Raven, although he's used a bit of the energy. He still has some energy available on it. The Raven of Maru will start to move forward a little bit. And Clem setting up to come around this top side and look to make a move in. So here we go. I mean, he's just going to go a couple tanks in range. He's just going to auto turret, and the tanks will just be taking down those auto turrets for a little while. Going to move forward, try and get that tank on the high ground. Not necessarily the prettiest situation, but it's going to be enough. Now you own Maru's natural expansion, and if you own this natural, I mean, you're just going to be incredibly far ahead. Clem gets the map for Team Europe, and Team Europe are on the scoreboard. GG. Let's go Team Europe. All right. Bottom left-hand side is going to be... This must be Clem, right? Yes, because he's Terran. Sorry, I'm really not used to this whole editing player name things. I keep going in game and I'm like, oh, they're in the right space already. Then I'm like, wait, but it's the wrong player at the very least. Trap in the bottom right side. He picks Blackburn. Interesting map. Not a great map. Maybe wants to leave Hardwire, and it's probably a tactical decision, right, where he leaves Hardwire and Glittering Ashes for the Zergs, just in case he loses here. And then they still have Hardwire and Glittering, and he takes Blackburn away. Because I wouldn't say Blackburn's like an amazing map for PvT. You get a lot of strong pushes through the center. You can do some good drop play from those pushes. It's actually a very frustrating map to deal with. But, again, when you're playing in this team setting, it's probably better to play PvT on this map than it is to play ZVT on this map. And I imagine that is definitely a factor. This server will be West, by the way, so this is on West, which means the game after this is Central once again. It would be really good for Clem to obviously win a game on West, just to take one of the server preferences off the Koreans as well. You know, when you're talking about this in the long run, being able to win a game like that would be a pretty big deal. This is going to be seeing our SCV is chased around. See, a few people asking what happens if Clem loses. They do. Each team has 2 revives, so you can revive 2 of your players, and they must be different players. You can't revive the same player twice. So yes, it is a couple revives available, and again, then the question is, who do you revive? It turns out, by the way, as written in the chat, Reynor fixed his ping and stuff as well, so Reynor is ready to go again if needed. Actually, it's kind of weird, because if you lose to Trap, who do you send out next? I almost feel like maybe you send out MAXPAX, but then you'll send out MAXPAX to take down Trap in a world where then he also has to play the Zergs after? Actually, I don't necessarily hate it. I actually don't hate it. Playing the Zergs after, I do feel like with Maru out the way, MAXPAX might not be a bad choice. Of course, Maru can be revived further down the line as well, so also a factor, that's for sure. It's going to be dropping down our Twilight counts in the back of the main base there. I really feel like we've got a series on our hands just because Clem gets one map, Maru gets taken down. I'm feeling it now, guys, you know? I'm believing. I'm feeling good all of a sudden. I believe. I thought we were on our way to a 6-0, and I was terrified. Alright, we do see a couple of Hellions on the way out, as we do just have a Rax off to the side, and a Twilight Council is on the way. As we get that underway. Stalker coming through. Warpgate is on the way up as well. I'm just going to be seeing that Blink upgrade continuing up as well. So continuing through with this and just keeping this going. So pretty standard stuff from Trap. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be. You can be aggressive on Blackburn, right? It is a map which allows for you to go across the map aggressively if you'd like to. With the Blink Stalkers. It's not the best, per se, though. I mean, you have, like, 2... It's not an easy rotation from the front of the natural to the main base blink in. The only good thing, really, I suppose, is the fact the main is rather large. So if you do blink into the main, it's not necessarily going to be fully covered in defense. That's probably the best part of it. Couple Hellions from Clem have been scouting out and trying to just pick up some information as well so far, just trying to see what is going on, what the situation is, what is happening. Four Widow Mines begin to drop across the map. So 4 Widow Mines in that medevac, away they go. Us journeying away to the other side. Well, they are going to try and make a little bit of something happen. So in we go. Oh no! Oh my goodness. The first one of my shot was really good. And then there was that second one, which I thought might have clipped the back end of the probes. Nicely dealt with on the last one of mine too, but that's 7 workers killed in total. This was not bad at all. Sorry, I know I just made noises instead of casting, but I got really excited because I really believed all those probes were just super stacked, and they kind of were. They kind of were. Just going to be seeing our units heading out through the bottom side. There's going to be seeing our siege tank coming through. There's going to be seeing our Viking and our tank coming up. A couple of additional Marines and our command center coming up as well. The Stalkers just continuing across as an adept shading upwards, and we're just going to see a few Marines jumping into the bunker. As we do have the Cyclone coming through, gets a lock on. I mean, the Stalkers have blinked, so that is a dead Stalker. They can blink out on that top side, and that's what they're waiting to do. Just getting a couple of extra Marines. Trap finding as much value as possible from his units, as he always is doing. Just going to see our Stalkers back down to the bottom side. A couple of additional racks still coming through the charge. Building up as well in the Twilight Council. And that means that Trap, as he takes a third base, is going to just be very Stalker Zealot focused for a few moments, guys. Just going to double check my... Yeah, my feed is on 1080. It just looked a little bit blurry there for a few moments. Apologies. Just going to see a couple of refineries finishing up. Our engineering base still coming in from Clem, so he can start his own upgrades. So no upgrades early from Clem. Usually in TVP, you at least have like one upgrade already kind of working away, it feels like, but it's going to be straight at double upgrades when Clem gets around to them now. That's going to be his approach, as that'll kind of match the +1 of Trap at least. You know, again, just a ton of gateways, just going to be very Zealot Stalker heavy, which is really going to try and overrun Clem with just sheer number of units. I've definitely seen that strat before in PvT. It's not an unheard of style. I can just chill on the bottom. Just going to see extra gates coming through. Charge is going to be finishing, and again, just our Marines and a tank all gathered up over on that left-hand side. Pressing forward Zealots and a couple of sentries already making their way through the bottom of the map as well. And warp in a few more Stalkers with this. So just getting this up, getting this rolling. And actually, kind of surprised by how aggressive Trap might be here, right? Like, he's really warping in a forward position and just looking like he might do something with this. I mean, Clem kind of sees this. He doesn't have Stim yet, by the way, so these fights are a little bit awkward before he has Stim. He's cleaned up an Adept on the high ground as Stalkers will blink micro away from those mines. He knows that these Stalkers are, Marines are up here, sorry, so he wants to fight that. Medevac actually can't evacuate, though, and now Trap is kind of up the ramp in a bit of a weirder position. Stim is done in 5 seconds time, and Trap is warping in more units just to go for the kill. Zealots come in from the top side, but SCVs are going to wall that off. We blink on top of the tank straight away. Stim is done, Clem. Probably good to use that ability. It's a pretty important one, as Trap really does just want to end the game right here. Widowmine's doing what they can. 12 SCVs have already fallen. I don't think it's so bad if Clem loses a few workers. It's not like Trap was going crazy on workers, and he isn't having a lot of tech, right? It's very much so just this group of units. As Clem's close again is 1-1, that will make a big difference as well. That's a nice Widowmine. If it goes off, a few of those Zealots were low. It would have been some good splash damage. Didn't connect in the end, but also far from being end of the world. You have to get 6 more probes across the map. That's going to be a nice little bit of damage there, as well as a few more Zealots going down. Just going to be seeing a third CC trying to get back in position. We're fighting our Widowmines back into place here as Clem, supply lead, army lead, and now an upgrade lead as well, as he's got an armor upgrade that Trap does not. And in fact, Clem is everything apart from a worker lead. He needs to be careful not to lose the third base. Did he get too cocky, bringing this down too soon? Widowmines are helping a lot here. One Immortal is going to do a lot of buffering, though, and we just know how powerful a little bit of an Immortal buffer can be. We blink forward aggressively as Clem keeps on fighting. Zealots continue to be the buffer initially, but once those Zealots are gone, it feels like these Stalkers should have a way worse time. He does target fire the Widowmine on the Stalkers. He avoided the Zealots. That was actually a sick play from Clem. He gets 2 Stalkers for it, 1 in full HP, 1 from the splash, and now he gets the Immortal, and Clem will continue to push this back. He's taking the safer third base now as well, expanding backwards instead of what he was doing prior. Wow, okay, well, Trap takes the gold base for a 4th, but it's a defense from Clem, and a 30 army supply lead, still with the upgrade advantage in his side, as now Clem can maybe go across the map with this as well and make something really happen here. Chasing across, gets the Prism. Wow, this is bad, huh? All of a sudden, Trap doesn't have much to play with anymore, and Clem actually even has potential to drop up into the main base. He's going to load up everything. The Stalkers feel like they're so nearby, but they don't see it. And now he drops straight into this main, and Clem is going to start dealing some damage here. Oh, there are some Zealots here. My bad. Uh-oh, now this is trouble because the Stalkers coming from the bottom side. Clem unloads, and he will get an unload. with just Stalkers and an Archon, I actually don't know if you can really fight this either, so maybe this is not the best of situations for Trap to continue through when he didn't get the medevac. Wow, this is becoming just a whole bunch of crazy. Widowmine's going down off again. Clem still seems to have a pretty sizable advantage as Stalkers are blinking for the medevacs. I mean, Trap is playing bravely. Clem has 3 ghosts on the way. That's going to be a major game changer as well. No 2-2 upgrades though. Armory very late, but that might have been a choice. Choosing to go for ghosts rather than 2-2. All of the time, that is just a choice Terrans make where they say, right, that makes a lot of sense, right? And it's just going to be seeing this army of Trap continues to fall away. Bioforce coming through and just catches a couple of Archons moving forward. Freebies! Yes, please! Take them every day of the week as we will scan here as well. Afraid of maybe just a, I believe just afraid of just an observer or so. Wants to deny vision if possible. This few Zealots on the counterattack, not going to be doing too much either. And shot down pretty much right away, and Clem definitely taking a pretty substantial lead now. That supply heavily in his favor. There's a few ghosts and the bio units coming around the back. A few of these probes being picked away at. And just going to be seeing another Widowmine set up to potentially get something done. We see a ghost in the front getting taken down. Okay, this is going to be really awkward for Trap because he's actually going to have Clem's army coming from the top right side. He doesn't have Storm for 10 more seconds. If Clem just collapses on Trap right now, I mean, he's already just going to be catching reinforcements and so on. He's setting up the ramp at the moment. There is Storm now ready to go. I think he can get the Prism though. Oh, but the Storm goes down. First Storm's decent. Zealots come through. Now Clem just has to fight these Zealots off, but I think he's going to be okay. But he is kind of losing out on units over here. He still has more army supply. He just needs to get these units up the ramp and into action, and he will start to make that play. He will get up here. I mean, Trap is stuck. He can't get out with these units. He kills 16 SCVs though. Is that enough economic damage to justify everything else? The last few Stalkers blink up into the high ground, and that will be about it for now. As the last couple of them get out, so Trap gets out with a little bit of something. I mean, Trap has basically no army supply on the back of this. Clem on his way to +2 attack as well, so at least fixing his upgrades a little bit as well. That Bioforce still coming through. A Ghost with no energy leading the charge as we just stim forward. And wow, I really feel like actually Clem, I don't want to say he took too long to get back up the ramp, but it did actually become more awkward for Clem than I thought, and I guess decisive from Trap just to kind of move up there. I really thought at one point Clem was going to kill that Prism mid-warp, and that would have been bad, because if then Zealots weren't there, yeah, that would have been really bad. I guess the Storm saved him in that regard, right? Because the Storm then stopped Clem from just stimming straight through. Because if those Zealots aren't there, then that army gets cleaned up way faster. Then you don't kill the SCVs. Zealots do work their way around this side, but I mean, Clem is already up into the natural of Trap. So, Trap, you got a bit of an awkward position to play here. Now you're running through a choke point with your Zealots. I mean, he is killing SCVs across the map again, but it feels like we've been here multiple times in this, where we've just had Zealots kind of running in for a counterattack, but Clem is just, you know, losing SCVs, but always having more army coming out the back of this. Just going to be seeing the Bioforce continues through, and just going to be seeing more probes dropping down. I mean, 14 SCVs dead, but now the probes are dropping in. I mean, these Zealots are still just charging into a choke point. Clem is about to have +2 weapons, by the way. He is going to be melting Zealots after this, and they are not going to have anywhere near the same kind of love as they had before. As you're going to see Stalkers going down. Clem continue to target fire Stalkers. He has the lift up and leave potential on the medevacs whenever he wants it. One lone Stalker survives. He actually probably should have lifted up here a little bit, as these Widowmines have an observer to help them out as well now. I don't think Clem was expecting that. I think he genuinely believed he could fall back and get them to fire again, but you know what? He's got reinforcements coming too. He doesn't really need to back away. His medevac's all super low energy as he's been pretty much fighting for the entirety of the game as well. The Clem's pressure eventually is going to come through, and Team Europe are going to get another map. Just going to be seeing these Stalkers continue to drop, blinking back, Trap one by one, trying to do whatever he can to save the day right now, but it just ain't going to be enough. Another Stalker goes down. There goes another Zealot. GG from Trap, and that is going to be Clem taking this to a map 6 at least, with a 3-2 scoreline. Clem gets 2 in a row, and nothing but Terran domination so far today. This will come out of there.